Most people assume the grisly images in this game's finale were what resulted in an M rating in its initial release. Personally, I think it has more to do with the fact that this game released months after the 2013 Boston Marathon bombing, an Islamist terrorist attack that claimed 3 lives and injured hundreds, including a dozen who had lost limbs. And the opening episode in this game is about a courtroom being bombed. That makes a lot more sense because the grisly images in the game's finale just seemed like a pretty standard Ace-30 crime scene, nothing to go nuts about.
These are dark times.
Narration. I don't deny that Athena would have fallen after stubbing her toe on one of the steps, but she leaned forward first. Shouldn't the fall have continued forward instead of shifting back? Whoa, Phoenix is back to his lawyer job already? Wait, are future episodes going to take place before this one? What exactly is this shot of Apollo in the ruins of the courtroom supposed to be? It couldn't have been before Juniper's trial because he's been severely injured by the bomb blast, meaning he'd have to get all those bandages wrapped around his body. In fact, the only time I could think of when he was in those ruins was to look for evidence that helps the defense's case, and of course, it's around that time he gets attacked by the true culprit, which is only found out after proceedings ended that day.
Now all I have to do is pin everything on that little girl.
Why? Wouldn't it make more sense to pin it on another authority figure? Anyone else miss the old typewriter sound effect, as well as the speed at which the date, time, and location were being typed out? Why did they decide to slow it down? Oh, ew, dude, don't smile like that.
This is Juniper Woods. She's my dear, dear childhood friend. And she's also our client for this case.
Gosh dang it, this is essentially the first turnabout again. You defend your childhood friend on a criminal charge for the tutorial.
Blood is seeping through his bandages. One of his wounds must have reopened.
But when we see him cross his arms again, his bandages look clean. Not even starting the trial right on an hour, huh? Not even on a 15-minute interval? Did Payne grow his hair back or something?
Due to the explosion in the courthouse yesterday, Mr. Justice is unable to continue.
I see. Not at all surprised he used that as an excuse to run away.
Does he really believe that, or is he just bragging? He's just bragging, isn't he? But since when was Payne that much of a braggart?
If that's the case, then there's a clear contradiction to what you just stated.
A contradiction?
You just stated that you said nothing. However, if that device of yours says what you're thinking...
Then there's no contradiction. She stated she said nothing, and that's correct. She only thought what Widget voiced.
No fresh out of law school rookie can defend this witness.
Don't you be defended?
I knew it. He really is an arrogant jerk.
Arrogant jerk.
Miss Sykes, if you continue to insult the prosecution, I will remove you from this court.
Is there an off switch on Widget? Because this would be a good time to switch it. You don't need it on except for the mood matrix.
But first, a question for the defendant. Have you ever been brought up on false charges?
What? Why, yes, I have.
And did that experience cause you to harbor a grudge against the court system?
Remember back when not every defendant needed to have a motive established for the crime they were charged with? Out of all defendants in the series, why did Capcom feel the need to give one to Juniper, not to mention a crappy motive? Also, I'm pretty sure the prosecution can't just claim that as a motive without proof of said grudge being borne against the courts, or even mental instability within the defendant herself. Why can't I examine my attorney's badge?
It's a tale, Your Honor. A tale of a poor victim of the explosion.
This is incredible! Are you saying it's Detective Arm's tale?
Your Honor is so very close, but no.
What about that guess was so very close?
His motto is phony evidence is just trunked up.
That's so wrong on so many levels.
I fail to see the problem with Phony Fanty's motto. I think it sounds cute.
The phony Fanty's tail is made of vinyl cloth, and we found something very interesting on the surface. The defendant's fingerprints.
That's your basis for accusing Juniper? How do you know it even belonged to the stuffed animal that hit the bomb? Couldn't it just as easily have belonged to some other Phony Fanty? What part of the fingerprint's decisive?
If you can't produce an answer, we could always go straight to the ruling if you prefer.
Is that even allowed? I haven't done a single cross-examination.
Objection!
Well, it was fun playing as Athena for 20 minutes. I only got to answer one question and no cross-examinations whatsoever. It's been a while, Mr. Payne.
You're more clues than I'd heard. I do believe you mean, how do you do? For I am Gaspin Payne. I am the younger brother of your long-standing rival Winston Payne.
Oh, so that's why his behavior was so different. Because he's not wincing in pain, he's gasping in pain. Now I get it.
Very well. Please call your witness, Mr. Payne.
Nice to see you, bomber from the intro.
Name, Ted Tunnett. Occupation, bomb disposal specialist.
A wacky witness already, and one who communicates through text-to-speech? We just started the game.
Can't you speak in a normal manner?
I can.
He can!
But I do not like to speak. Speaking is inefficient. Energy expenditure. Speaking greater than typing. Understand?
Okay, but speed expenditure, speaking is greater than typing.
This is an exact replica of the HH-3000. It is used to practice disarming bombs. Disarm equals success. Explosion equals failure.
Except that bomb doesn't really explode, right?
Your bomb does appear to be a very good copy indeed.
Yes, however I could not replicate the detonation mechanism. It has a very puzzling wiring setup. It is regrettable I could not replicate it.
Red flag right there. Witness is troubled at being unable to replicate the detonation mechanism of the bomb that destroyed the courtroom.
If you can't find any contradictions, and you flub up too often, don't be afraid to ask me for help. Press X when the option to consult with me appears. I'll let you know where I think the suspicious statement is.
The consult option is a gimmick that would only be used in Dual Destinies and Spirit of Justice, not even in Great Ace Attorney. Mr. Tony, how can you claim to know the bomb was about to go off when you couldn't even see the timer?
But that so you need to be an IIJ
So, getting caught in a lie means your hand bashes over the keyboard, producing random characters in your speech. Got it. According to the prosecution and his witness, Juniper was observed to have had the goal of stealing the remote switch for the bomb. Since the remote switch is still missing, even as this trial is underway, the prosecution at this point in time has no grounds on which to claim the defendant is any more suspicious than his witness.
But what I do have is a piece of evidence that proves the defendant handled the bomb.
Ah! That tail! The tail that proves nothing!
It appears we will have to hear from the defendant herself once more.
You know what would make more sense? Tone said he brought the bomb to the lobby for Apollo to see before the trial. In that case, all we'd have to do is call Apollo to the stand and ask him to verify Tone's claims. But that's right, he was the original defense. In other words, his testimony would be inadmissible.
You re-armed the bomb because you wanted to blow up the courthouse. Admit it. That's why you went to the lobby where Mr. Justice was. Isn't that right?
Mr. Wright, can I go give that prosecutor a smack?
Well, what? Of course not! Do we have to review Courtroom Manners 101 again? Physical violence is not permitted. If you have a problem with the prosecution's questions, you simply raise an objection. In this instance, do so for badgering the witness, maybe even leading the witness. Either way, he's doing something wrong. And honestly, I don't think the judge should even be allowing this in the first place, despite the lack of an objection.
Mr. Payne, I ask that you behave more like a gentleman.
But you don't know, Your Honor. There's no more a gentleman in this world than I.
Are you trying to be sneaky and defying his honor's orders? Because it's not working. If you were so gentle, gosh dang it, I keep forgetting I'm not dealing with the same pain here.
I'm more than just a gentleman. I'm a genteel man.
That's E-list.
The emotions and images that I picked up on just now while listening to her testimony. I can enter all of that into Widget and use the mood matrix to analyze them.
What's funny is that Phoenix has already seen Athena use the mood matrix once before, but this is the tutorial for the game, so...
Apollo is just like the sun, strong and bright and warm.
Get it? Because his name's the same as the Greek and Roman god of the sun? About time we saw a reference like that. Before the cosmic turnabout, you'd figure the eye patch was just another injury he sustained due to the bomb blast, but nope, he already had that eye patch during the trial before the bomb went off, and Athena knows this, having been his co-counsel. Oh crap, spoiler!
I brought my stuffed animal Bumrap Briny to watch the trial with me. Bumrap Briny and Phony Fanty are brothers.
Who knew that the legal world could inspire a whole line of merchandise? I mean, the police already sponsored a theme park.
As long as the possibility exists that the tail belongs to Bumrap Riney, we can no longer consider it to be decisive proof that the defendant handled the bomb.
Was it ever decisive proof to begin with? Game expects me to believe it was 2 hours and 10 minutes since the start of the proceedings when they finally ended for the day. And that must have been a long hike to the site of the bomb blast from the defendant lobby if it took 15 minutes to get there.
You really should read the story for yourself. I couldn't even begin to do it justice.
Justice?
Nice wording there, Athena.
People who've studied analytical psychology are great at times like these. After all, they've learned how to control their own emotions too.
Evidently, Widget thinks he's still got a ways to go.
He can't recall anything from the time right before he was assaulted. Nothing about what he was doing in courtroom number 4 or who assaulted him. The doctor said it's probably due to that hit he took to the head.
Assaulted in a court of law and losing your memory at that. I know how that feels. Some of us wish we lost that particular memory. Okay, that's a start. Still not on the hour, but at least on a 10-minute interval this time.
Were you able to locate the remote switch in question?
I'm afraid the remote switch is still missing, Your Honor.
I must say I'm disappointed, Mr. Payne. Not angry, just disappointed.
Because you still intend to accuse Juniper Woods of the crime despite not having one of the most important pieces of evidence.
At the time of the attack, Mr. Justice was not alone. He was with the defendant, Miss Juniper Woods.
He isn't going where I think he's going with this. Is he?
The prosecution wishes to indict Miss Woods on the charge of Mr. Justice's assault.
Well, not as baseless as the claim that she bombed the courtroom, but when Juniper was being summoned to testify, surely the officer summoning her would have seen Apollo still on his feet while escorting Juniper to the courtroom, or is Payne just ignoring that because he's that evil?
And so, I surmise that the defender picked up a piece of rubble and hit Mr. Justice on the back of the head in order to silence him.
Then I assume you've dusted the weapon for prints?
Miss Woods is hereby officially indicted on the charge of assaulting Mr. Justice.
What? Why are you listening to Mr. Toupee over there? This is the same judge that believed a cardboard badge to have been genuine gold. Shouldn't you be used to this stupidity by now?
We found the proof of a foul deeds in the courtroom ruins.
Gosh dang it! How many times must we go through this? A name written at the crime scene is not conclusive evidence of the attacker!
Mr. Wright! The nerve of him leaving that message! Why would he do this?
Not you too, Athena!
Now then, please begin your cross-examination, Mr. Wright.
Finally, we get to it. What, 2.5 minutes after the testimony? The way she makes him sound, you'd think Apollo was some kind of ancient god. Because he is. Was. Whatever.
A real man doesn't make mountains out of molehills, you know.
But that's precisely what Mr. Wright does best.
I call slander, Your Honor! No, think of it as a compliment.
Inconceivable!
I know this is the first time you've said that word this whole episode, but I don't think it means what you think it means.
Why should we believe the defendant's claim was that the case was in a different position?
For one thing, it was the middle of the trial when the bomb went off. Why would that case be in front of the witness stand now? No.
But why would Candace write the defendant's name? There's no connection between the two whatsoever.
Thanks for the flashback. Not that I needed it.
The bomb transport case? I've had it up to here with your shenanigans, Mr. Wright.
Before you go on dismissing them as shenanigans, at least listen to the argument first.
Well, would you look at that? Leois?
Look at the transport case again.
Well, I could change anything into anything else simply by erasing 2 lines. What if we erase 2 lines from your name? Would you be happy as Mr. Wright?
Well, would you, Mr. Wright?
What are you, 3? Why are you going along with Payne's jokes? The culprit that the victim was trying to identify is none other than the one person who talked about having an ID number, and we just heard talk of such thing in a flashback not long ago. Mr. Tony was able to cover the message up because he's... One of the options is goggle discrimination, and the other is stickler discrimination. Either way is discrimination. Why are we getting a flashback for this?
I see.
Is it read as IC times 2 or IC?
Anyway, there's no way Detective Arm could have written it.
Wait for the test results to come back, then make the claim.
It's true that the body was discovered near the entrance to the courtroom. Please have a look at this crime scene photo.
And this is the first we see of this because... Is he typing dots in his nervous sweat? Come back, my beautiful contradiction! Wilson!
All I did was transport the bomb to THC3 courtroom. I already told you. Portugal WJ Rocks.
Blast this thing.
Jeez, finally.
Oh, yes, that's right. I didn't have any sort of thing that could be used as a murder weapon on me.
You're sure acting like you had no weapon.
Did you find any of the victim's blood on the bomb? That would be decisive proof, but too bad. The bomb is blown to bits. It's long gone. Boom. Game over. Yeah.
Capcom had no shame shoehorning that Sega reference into the dialogue, did they? No shame at all, huh? Time to present the photo that shows exactly what Mr. Tony had to hide! Thanks for saying photo just to narrow down my options. If it's false, you should have no objections to showing us your transport case. So, let's open it up and take a look inside, shall we?
Hold it. Let's not. Not if you value your life.
This bluff is basically a confession.
Even with no remote switch, this bomb can still be triggered manually if I think I'm being followed. I will detonate it on the spot.
So you'd be willing to commit suicide to avoid incarceration. Got it.
And when the idiot police arrested that little girl, I thought for sure I could pin it all on her.
With what, idiot? The tail that had her fingerprints? The bloody message that was originally underneath the transport case? And let me add yet another sin for the authority figures being stupid enough to think either was decisive evidence to begin with. The tail could have belonged to any other phony Fanny or even bum rap Riney, and why would the transport case be in front of the witness stand if the courtroom exploded in the middle of a trial? Do your jobs and work that out, please! I know that in the 3DS version of this game, the camera would zoom in on the defendant after the not guilty verdict is read, but in the Switch version, that doesn't happen. The funny thing is, they do it in Spirit of Justice, but not in Dual Destinies. Why? I'm not going to deny it, some of the analyses would take a bit to process, like the blood test on the message left at the crime scene, but 2 hours and 41 minutes seems like too much. When would Athena have been out in the ruins before her own trial?
Take it down! Take it! Take the f***ing elephant!
Blood is seeping through his bandages. One of his wounds must have I hate the word wounds. Blood is seeping through his bandages. One of his wounds must have reopened. Why can't I say this word? Blood is seeping through his bandages. One of his wounds must have God, I feel like Cosmo right now. Blood is seeping. Blood. That's so wrong on so many levels. That is too many so's. That's so wrong on so many levels. I don't like this letter either. That's so wrong on so many levels. That's 4 S's. That's 4. Maybe I should have auditioned for Miriam. I'll let you know where I think the suspicious statement is. Suspicious statement. Don't be afraid to ask me for help. I'm eating my words. Press X when the option can... Press X when the option... Press X when the... Don't be afraid to ask me for help. That's not a hard line. Press X when the option to press X when the option to consult with me appears. If you can't oh my gosh. Ugh. You really should read the story for yourself. I couldn't even begin to give it what? You really should read the story for yourself. I couldn't even begin to give it? Is it give it justice or do it justice? Do it justice. Okay.
I'm just gonna try to do them all in one shot. I just woke up. Alright. You just stated that you said nothing. However, if that device of yours says what you're thinking... No fresh out of law school rookie can defend this witness. The phony Fanty's tail is made of vinyl cloth. We found... First outtake. The prosecution wishes to typo in your script. It says Pretty sure you have the objection voices on for this, right? Objection! Why should we have to believe the defendant's claim if that's the case in a different position? No, that's not. Completely misread that, sorry. Well, I could change anything into anything else, but... bad. Well, I could change anything into anything else... bad again. I think that was it already, wasn't it? Yeah, that was it. Wow. Of course I wouldn't miss anything. I am the most gentleman of gentlemen. And that means I never miss a single thing. I don't know. Yeah, I think that was it. Alright.